Welcome to the Dresden Nexus podcast, recorded live from the 2025 Dresden Nexus conference. I'm your host, Atika Fayu Saleh, and today we're joined by Lars Bergmann, CEO of Viaduct Technologies GmbH in Weißenburg, Germany. This year marks a special occasion as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the United Nations University. And throughout this series, we'll explore the future of resources and how navigating the interconnected challenges of water, energy, food, land, and other resources, the resource nexus, will shape our path toward a sustainable world. In this episode, we'll hear from Lars Bergmann, who will share his invaluable insights. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Atika.
Now, let's dive into the conversation. You specialize in providing cutting-edge solutions for urban sustainability. How do your technologies help address the interconnected challenges of water, energy, or other resources that you look at? And what role do they play in advancing the resource nexus?
Yeah. Thanks at first for hosting me here today. It's a big pleasure. Wonderful spring day in Dresden at this amazing conference, and it's good to be back in the town where I went to university, where I met my wife, where I married my wife. So
welcome back.
It's a great pleasure. Yeah, I would say I do. Yes, it's about cutting edge technologies, but I would also say it's fit for purpose technologies. That has been a learning curve over my past, being in the water business, wastewater business, the past 20 years, is that my learning curve is that I always said, okay, I have the best product and this is fit for your purpose. But we had to learn, and a big learning curve, especially if we look into not the Western countries, look into developing countries, that they have some other demands. So yes, when we talk about technologies for the Western world, it's cutting edge. And when we look into the developing countries, I think it's not low tech. I think this is not the proper term. I don't like low tech, and because it had some gut feeling for discrimination. And so I'm talking more about fit tech, so fitting technology. Starting with fitting technologies, what I'm currently working on a project with, it's a German lady who studied in Switzerland and who developed a new dry toilet system for developing countries, where she actually separates the urine from the excrements. Then they have a collection system where they collect all the urine and excrements, and actually through a very easy technical process, they produce a fertilizer, which they can then sell to the farmers, which then, if it goes back, also pays back a little premium to the community, actually. So they make money with using the toilet. So, and there is no power, no electricity involved, whatever, but it helps, at least. It's a nexus approach in terms of we take care of the precious water resources as they are dry toilets. We use it as a fertilizer in the agriculture. So this is one of the approach I really like, and this is a fantastic setup for developing countries. So because it's, as I said, also behind the technical solution and solving a problem, you also have a business case for the community, and that's something I like. When we look into kind of more the cutting edge technologies, I'm currently working with a company out of Sweden, and they offer technologies where they turn waste into products. In particular, in Germany, for example, a lot of the sewage sludge which is produced is going to be burned and will be burned in incineration plants, and they recover from the ash a lot of materials. So they recover phosphorus, which is a super precious fertilizer. We recover all the precipitation chemicals back, which have been used in the wastewater treatment plant, and they recover sand, which can be reused in the building industry. So you have a waste product, and you recover 95 out of it, which can be then reused in a circular approach in agriculture, in industry, which is also a beautiful approach on the Nexus side. And they also recover, have another technology where they recover nitrogen from liquid waste streams, which then is also be reused in the fertilizer industry, where you replace virgin material, so you don't need to waste a lot of energy and a lot of emissions to produce new material. No, you can use a waste as a resource and reuse it. So this is a beautiful approach I really just like. And to be honest, until 4 weeks ago, I didn't really know the term nexus. And it's funny that I have actually done projects in the nexus approach. And one is, I would like to mention, is our farm-based project in Namibia. So in a nutshell, a friend of mine is traveling to Namibia frequently, and he came back 2 years ago and told me, Lars, listen, I visited a farm and I saw the country many times. People are starving and the farms are only operating at 5 to 10% capacity. And that's mainly because lack of water, lack of proper soil, lack of resources, energy, lack of capacity building, lack of people who are educated and skilled to do farming. So we established a project called Farm Base, where we look at the farm, look at the availability of water today, look also from a sustainability perspective on the water availability tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, so in the future. Look at the soil conditions, and combined with the available water and the soil conditions, we look into what is the best crop to plant or the best fruit, whatever, for a soil condition, but also from a business perspective. How much water do we need for that? What kind of irrigation do we need for that? How much energy is needed to operate this? So how much solar power, for example, we need to install, and how many people we need to operate this, and what kind of trade do they have? What kind of training do they need? And so this was a very, that's pure nexus, right? And we also had the idea that all the profits which are made with the farms, that at least the minimum premium of 20 to 30% is reinvested in the local community for schools, capacity building, clinics, whatever. Yeah.
Amazing. I really like the connection with the community as well,
Yeah.
and you're really literally changing livelihoods as well. Now that brings me to the next question. How important is collaboration in your view between the private sector, governments, research institutions, communities in developing and scaling sustainable technologies? Perhaps you have some examples where you have successfully partnered to deliver impactful solutions, in addition to what I've already heard.
Yeah. No, 100%. This collaboration between what you just said, the private sector, governments, but also the civil society, it's not just important, it's essential if you want to implement new technology. Usually it's new to people, it's new to society. And as I said, it's also from the private sector to have the learning curve which is actually needed. So what is the need of the local people? What is the governance? What are the local rules in terms of very simple is what effluent requirements, if I look into wastewater treatment plant, what is the effluent requirement you have for the wastewater treatment plant? I have available technology from kind of 100 to 0. I can treat it to drinking water, but is that the local need? Does it meet the financial options local communities are having? Or what is actually needed? And if you set up a project and to really find the right setup of a technology, of a sustainable technology, which then is not only working and operating, but also needs to be operated and serviced and everything, you need to involve, as I said, government, where they mostly set the rules. They need to accept the technology. They need to trust the technology. Same with the society. They also have to accept technology and trust it. And so quite often if we go into countries and develop a new technology or implement a new technology, and it doesn't matter if this is Germany, if this is Namibia, if this is Mexico, if this is Canada, China, we always engage with these stakeholders. So this is, as I said, this is essential, and for me, the basis for success. We have also done it the other way in earlier years around, where we just went on, okay, install pilot system, we can do this and this and that. And then all of a sudden we were inviting the government and some of the local societies said, okay, it's nice, but it's actually not what we need, right? So that's to listen first and to involve all the stakeholders is key and essential to successfully set up sustainable technologies.
Beautiful. I'm so happy to hear you mentioning acceptance, because technology acceptance is actually a big part of my research as well. So we'll take it offline. I actually work on vertical farming acceptance.
Perfect.
So we can connect. Now, looking to the future, what trends do you see shaping the next generation of sustainable technologies? I especially like the term fit tech, and you're right. I think it's also important to use terms that rather encourage than discourage the take up of technologies. How do you envision technology evolving to better support sustainable resource management in the coming decades?
I think, from my perspective, there are three trends I see. It's digitization, it's decentralization, and it's actually the democracy of technology. Looking why digitization, I think we are already on our way. And sometimes looking especially from a European and German perspective, especially countries in Africa, when I look into Kenya, they are way ahead of us when it comes to digitization, right? And unless a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know that's the second largest market for outsourcing software development after India. So that's is just on a side note, super interesting. But why digitization is also driving. One driver I see is the lack of skilled people. This is driving a lot of my my technology developments in the Western world. So do I have enough people who just simply want to service a wastewater treatment plant, want to get dirty? And B, is there any people actually who have the trade and want to do that? So if I don't have, I still have to make sure that the system is operating properly. So I have to work with AI, with digital twins, with smart sensing, with remote control, with remote management, with remote communication to make things work. And that's not only in terms of my wastewater treatment plants, I see this on a whole technology approach. Especially if we do talk about, for example, technology transfer to Africa, we need to digitize in order to help them. If I bring a brand new car technology to a country, whatever country it is, and I have an issue, I can set up some Google Glasses and then I can communicate directly and don't have to fly somebody in, which is A, expensive, B, emissions. So that's why digitization is a trend on my end. Decentralization, I said in the past it was more about centralization of things, so centralization of water supply, wastewater treatment, energy production, sometimes also food production. I think if we kind of look into decentralized things and look at produce and use at the point of source, is, from my perspective, more efficient economically, but also ecologically. That's why I'm a big fan of decentralization. And then democracy of technology is really, this I think is, look into urban areas, look into remote areas. We have to think outside the box and produce modular, scalable systems and technologies actually fit with our fitting technologies, which fit the purpose locally. And I think this, in a total nutshell, is for me the three megatrends in this case. Yeah.
Thank you for that insight. Extremely valuable. Now, in one word, if you have to, what do we need most to secure a bright resource future?
Water.
Thank you, Lars, for sharing your expertise, your vision on such a critical topic. It's conversations like these that help us to reimagine the future of resources and sustainability and technology. And we hope you enjoyed this episode and that it sparked new ideas on how we can all contribute to a more sustainable and equitable future. Stay tuned for more episodes of the Dresden Nexus podcast, where thought leaders from around the world come together to explore solutions to the resource nexus. Until next time, I'm Atika Fairuz Saleh, and thank you for listening.